Hello everyone and welcome to another video of WarGame Red Dragon. We are going to see yet another deck. This time we are going to see the US deck actually. Because of course the last video was about the Soviet one, so people want to know what's in for the big brother in the Blue 4 Alliance. So let's take a look at that. Logistics, of course. Let's start with the command vehicles. We have the N114A1, an APC, M577, another APC, a command vehicle in the form of an M60A1, another command vehicle in the shape of the N1 Abrams. Then you have some jeeps, the M151A1, the Humvee, and the LAV-2C, which is an armor vehicle, an APC actually. So you have three different options for command vehicles. Then you have, of course, the infantry. The infantry, which is the TACOM. They come, of course, in the different transports. We will see them in the infantry section. We have the Huey, command chopper. And as you can see, there's a lot of options. You have a lot of different shapes and forms of APCs, jeeps, tanks, even helicopters and infantry. So it's pretty complete in that sense. As logistics go, we have the Chinook. We have, this is new, the CH-53, the Stallion, with a very big fuel capacity, as you can see. FOB, which is pretty much standard, and the M35 truck, or the HEMTT as another option. Of course, the HEMTT loads a lot of capacity, but you get a lot less of them per card. So up to you which to decide to go with. So those are the logistics of the United States. Let's go into infantry. And infantry, well, there are a lot of new goodies here. First, well, we have to see the different transports. We have the Humvee, pretty much a jeep, N113A1, Huey 8, which is the single engine one, not really fast. Then we have Blackhawks and Chinooks. More transport options come with other infantry. Riflemen, for instance, get the N113A3, which has better armor. The N113A1 Dragon. And a new one, the N113A3 Super Dragon, with a much better ATGM. We will see it in the infantry. The infantry also can drive in M2 Bradleys, M2A1 Bradleys with an improved ITO, and the M2A2 Bradley with a TOW 2. The Marines have also the LVTP-7, the LVTP-7A1 with a grenade launcher, the Huey, much faster than the normal one, and the Frog, which is actually a Chinook. Now, one of the things I really don't understand is why people don't use the LVPT-A1 more. I mean, this is such a powerful unit. You can see it has a grenade launcher, has a very good, extremely good for an armor transport of 3 front armor. That's really good. So it's really a very nice support unit. So those are the transports for the infantry. Now let's see the infantry itself. You have flamethrowers with a napalm launcher. You have Delta Forces, which have M60 CQC. I don't know. The times I have been fighting against these guys, they really rip enemies to pieces. Extremely good unit. It's an elite unit as well. Then we have Manpads, the Red Eye, which is honestly very bad. You only want this in a Cat C unit because otherwise, yeah. Then you have the Stinger A, which is a Cat B manpads. Pretty good stats, really good manpads to be honest. And you have yet another one, the Stinger C, which is the Cat A manpads, which is a much improved version over the Stinger A. As you can see, well, those are the stats, much higher accuracy. So yeah, really good unit, really good manpads. Now, next in line we have the Light Rifleman, which is basically the ATGM infantry for the United States. They don't get ATGM teams as the Soviets do in teams of 2, but they get squads of 10, regular squads of 10, with an ATGM. We have the Light Rifleman, which is the Cat C1 with an M47 Dragon, which is a pretty uninspiring ATGM, but still, it's an ATGM. And then we have the Light Rifleman 90, which is the Cat A version, with the Super Dragon, which is a much improved, as you can see, higher range, much better accuracy, much better AP power, all around a much better weapon. It's actually a pretty decent ATGM, to be honest, in a squad of 10, even more so. So, yeah, this is the ATGM infantry for the United States. You can also go with the Mountaineers, but they only get the standard, well, they get the Dragoon too, which we are going to compare with the new Super Dragoon. You can see has better accuracy but doesn't have the range nor the AP power. Still, it's a pretty decent unit, but it's a little bit lackluster, the Mountaineers, to be honest, compared with the Light Rifleman. Of course, it's cheaper, so that might be something to go for, but yeah. Then we have the Rifleman in two flavors, Rifleman normal and Rifleman 90 for Cat C and B and Cat A, and you can see here the stats. They are pretty much the same other than the rocket. The Cat A1 gets the M72 low, and the 90 version comes with the 84, which of course is a much better all-around anti-tank rocket. Yeah, that's the line infantry. Now we have dedicated 80 units, which is the SMO. The SMO has a small rocket launcher, a standard rifle, but it gets no machine gun. Also comes in teams of 5, but notice here they have a shock rating, so they have rate of fire increased. These are Marines, basically, with a small 80 rocket, which is brutal. As you can see, high accuracy, pretty good range, amazing AC power. Yeah, this is really good, and an amazing rate of fire of 20 rounds per minute. These guys are like rocket launcher machine guns. So they are not just good for 80 rolls. These are really good in supporting assaults because the SMO also has an AC power, so they can stand and kill enemy infantry. So this is all around a much better infantry unit than what you might think. And then we have, of course, the Marines. The Marines are a SOC unit with bonuses of rate of fire, etc. And they come also into flavors. The standard one, you can see the main differences come with the rocket launcher, which is much better in the 90 version, higher range, higher accuracy, well, higher, the same AP power, but it's more or less okay anyway, and a different machine gun, CQC Mini-Me, sorry. And the Cat C flavor comes with a Colt LMG, which is also CQC, but is all around slightly worse because of the rate of fire. This comes in groups of 15, so remember these units are really powerful. This is one of the best shock infantries of the game, honestly. So that's the infantry for the United States. Let's take a look at the support, and the support is one of the things I don't really like in the Americans. We're going to see them one by one. Let's start with the air defense gun. We have the standard Vulcan without a radar assistance or anything else, and then we have the PBATs, which is radar guided, has much better range, and both against the helicopters and planes, and of course much higher accuracy. Then we have the missile units. which is where I think the United States is a little bit lacking. Exception made for this one, the Avenger is amazing. The Avenger is a really great AA. Extremely fast, extremely quick, pretty good availability, great AA missile. The only problem is that they lack range. But they are support. They are not. They are to support advancing units. They are not really for static defenses. However, it's in static defenses when I think the US is lacking a bit. We get the Chaparral in three different versions: the M48, the M48A1, the M48A3. These two you will know from Air and Battle. This one is new. So let's take a look and compare it with the M42A1. You can see the difference is a much higher range, higher accuracy, so much better missile all around. The problem with these units is that they only have 4 missiles, and you can feel that. I mean, it runs out of ammunition really quickly. So if you want to really use this to support any advance or whatever, or to run a static defense, you really need to bring a logistic track to keep them supplied all the time, because they are not self-sustaining. Once those 4 missiles are shot, it's game over, and they shoot really fast. As you can see, they have a good rate of fire, so soon they will run out of ammunition. Still, the M48A3 is not bad. The only problem is, as I said, it has this problem. However, then we move to the IHawk, and a new unit, the IHawk PIP-3. Now, the PIP-3 is a heck of a missile, don't get me wrong, and I like it a lot for what it is. High accuracy, extreme range, both against helicopters and airplanes, which is pretty rare, because in this case you get either good range against helicopters or good range against airplanes, but usually you don't get both. Great AC power, great suppression, not that great reload time. But again, the problem is radar missiles 3. You shoot these 3, the unit is out of missiles for good, until you bring a logistic track that can reload them. And these missiles take a heck of a lot of supplies to reload. And that's a problem. So it's not that they have bad AA. The problem is that to support them you need a constant presence of logistic units, and logistic units are really vulnerable. And as they are so vulnerable, yeah, if you lost your tracks, you have lost your AA mostly until you bring another supply track. So it's good AA, but it's highly vulnerable to losing your supplies. Except for the Avenger. The Avenger is actually good. I mean, 8 infrared missiles are a lot, and you can keep this being useful for a much longer time than a Chaparral or an IHawk. Moving on, artillery. Have the howitzers, the M109, the M109A2 with a higher range, the Paladin, which is actually a pretty good 155 artillery, and then you have the M110s, the normal M110, the M110A2, sniper artillery for long range shooting. This is pretty much the same as in WarGame Battle. Then we have the MLS, which brings with a great novelty here. The unit on itself is not new, it was already in WarGame Battle, but here you can see that they have attack ATACMS, attackms, or however it's said, whatever. They only have 2 rounds, they only have 2 rockets, but look at this range, and look at this AP power. These things are extremely dangerous. They are not really accurate. I mean, they are actually pretty inaccurate. But if one of these rockets fall over an enemy formation of armored units, this is cluster ammunition actually. You can see cluster. It's a lot of cluster ammunition falling on an area with a brutal AP power. This destroys enemies. So it's a very interesting unit. I still have to try it. I haven't tried it yet. But yeah, looks like an extremely interesting. I have seen it in action, however. I've seen it not fired on me, but on other guys on my team. and the effects are devastating. Really, extremely good unit. Of course, it's very expensive. It reloads astonishingly low and takes a long while to aim. So, but yeah, this is a really good unit. Then we have the mortars. And in the mortars, again, this is like WarGame Land Battle. You have the N125A1 with a normal mortar. You have the N106A2 with a bigger mortar, with more range, more AC power. Of course, it's more expensive. And then you have the LAB-M with the same mortar as the N125, but in a much faster vehicle all around, which of course means is a lot more flexible when changing positions and moving in the battlefield. So this is the support for the Americans. Let's take a look at tanks. Boy, there are a lot of new things in the tanks, particularly so in the Abrams line. So let's take a look at them. First, we have the normal Abrams, same in WarGame Land Battle, and one IP Abrams, which is like the normal one but with higher ammo and a better stabilizer, and one A1, which finally brings a 120mm round to the table. And then we start having the new tanks. And one A1 HA Abrams. Well, let's do a comparison so you can see how they compare. They seem pretty similar, except that the HA has a lot more armor. 3 frontal armor, 1 extra on the side, 1 extra on the top. So this is really good because it resists cluster bombs much better. And yeah, really good unit. Then you have the N1A2 Abrams, which is the heaviest tank for the Americans. Let's see how it compares with the with the A1A1 again, so you can see how they compare with the current best tank in WarGame Land Battle. The gun has a much higher accuracy. It's as accurate on the move and as stopped. The same. I mean, the stabilizers on all the Abrams are extremely good. Immense AP power. So the gun improves a lot both in accuracy and in ammunition penetration ability. Then we have a lot more frontal armor, up to 22, 9 on the sides, 5 on the rear and 4 on the top. This is a really well armored tank. However, you might, it's also faster by the way. You might think that, wow, this tank is going to survive a lot in the battlefield. Remember that there are a lot of new units in this game, and a lot of them are new ATGMs, and those ATGMs come with a much higher AP power than what you are used to seeing in WarGame Airland Battle. So while you can see here and 22 and this for Airland Battle is brutal, in Red Dragon it's very good, it's extremely good, but it's not brutal. Believe me, it's not. However, this tank is the shit. I mean, this accuracy, even more if you bring it with veteran plus 24% accuracy, that means that you have an almost 90% chance of hit even moving. So, great tank all around. Problem is availability. You don't get many of them per card. Now, moving on, we have the Patton line. Well, this is actually the Marine line. This is the more or less the army. This is the Marine. You have the M84A5 USMC, the M60A1, the M60A1 ADS with a much better gun, the M60A1 explosive reactive armor, which of course increases armor a lot, and also with a better gun. And then you have the N1A1HC Abrams, which is the Marine version of the Abrams. Let's take a look and compare it with the standard A1A1. You can see the gun is better in both AP power and accuracy, and also has 20 frontal armor, more side armor, more top armor. So it's actually comparable with the HA. Hold on a second, let's see, there you go. So this is pretty much accurate. This version is more accurate, has more AP power, but is more or less the same in what regards to the armor. Then moving on, we have the Sheridan, the M55A1A1 Sheridan with the Silica missile, the M8 AES, a prototype light tank with a heck of a gun and a heck of a stabilizer for this price. I mean, for this price, this tank is actually pretty good. Of course, it has paper armor, but whatever. It's really quick as well. Then we have the Patton line, the M60A1 Rise Patton with an up-powered engine compared with the normal ones. M60A3 Patton 3. You can see better gun. And the Super M60 with a lot more armor, better stabilizer, and better ammunition for the gun. At 16.5 points is actually a decent tank. Then we have the M60A2E1, the Starship, with the Silica missile, the Starship E2, an incremental design with a 20mm autocannon, which is actually really useful. This is a better tank than many give it credit for. Of course, it has very poor armor, but whatever. And the MBT-70, sorry, which is the same as the German Kehler, but with a different gun, a 152 HIAT gun with less range, but a Silica C missile instead. Pretty quick, good road speed, and pretty cheap as well. So those are the tanks for the US. Moving on, Recon, and there you go. You have a lot of new goodies here as well. You have the Cobra J, the H1J Cobra, rockets, frag launcher, and only good optics, however, but it's still another Recon chopper that you can use. And one of the big goodies in this version, the Apache Longbow, which has the designed ATGM load. You don't get rocket launchers with this one. You get Hellfires, fire and forget Hellfires, and exceptional optics in the same package. Also, you have the 30mm chain gun as well. So this thing is just too good. Believe me. You have to handle it with a lot of care because each time the enemy sees one of these, they try to kill it by any means possible and for a good reason. These are 16 Hellfires and it fires one each 2 seconds. This can destroy a single armor assault on its own. That is still vulnerable to AA fire and enemy fighters, etc. Also has an excellent optics, so you don't need a Recon unit. Recon is provided by the chopper itself. Extremely good unit. Then you have the M113 ACAV, M3 Bradley, Recon version of the transport, M3A1 Bradley with an ATO, and the M3A2 Bradley with a TOW 2. M114A2, M551 ACAV, and a very interesting M551 A1 TTS, which is like the ACAV but with very good optics and a Silica missile. This is actually a pretty handy vehicle for support Recon because it can also fire Silica missiles. So yeah, pretty good unit. And I know a lot of people, I don't know why, because the tank in real life was shit, but a lot of people like the Sheridan a lot, and this is a very useful Sheridan. Then you have the Recon Jeep with exceptional optics, extremely good unit. Yet another Jeep with very good optics, a Humvee with good optics, and a Humvee Mark 19 with a grenade launcher and good optics. Then you have the Navy SEALs, which, wow, these units are good. I can tell you. They don't get, and probably that's the only bad part about these units, they don't get any rocket launcher for killing tanks, but they have a grenade launcher which stuns enemy infantry instantly. So each time you come in contact with enemy infantry, you stun them with a grenade launcher and you kill them with the Stoner CQC machine gun and the AK-47, which they carry instead of an American rifle. It's also elite, of course, has very good optics and very good stealth. This is a really, really powerful infantry unit. The Kiowa series with the C, standard minigun and good optics. The D, or Kiowa, with some rockets. And the Kiowa Warrior with a Hellfire, which, however, is not fire and forget, is semi-active and exceptional optics. So then you have the Rangers, shock training, so still they are very good. Carl Gustav 80 rocket, very good rocket, and in groups of 5. In you can carry them in Blackhawks, Hueys, Humvees, and Chinooks. Then you have the B-150 armored car, good optics only. They are the same armored car with a 20mm, still good optics only, and a scout version of the LAB-25 with the Bushmaster, but also good optics only. So as you can see, lots of new choices to take here in the Recon section. Moving on, vehicles. You have the LAB-80 with an ITO, really fast, lethal missile, good all around, ATGM launcher. The standard SIPOs you have in WarGame as well, the 132 SIPO and the M67A1 SIPO. The M150 with the TOW 2, very cheap carrier for the TOW 2. The M901 ITV with an ITO. And the N901A1 with the TOW 2. Then you have the Jeeps, which come with a TOW, ITO, and a TOW 2. Actually, this is a Humvee, not a standard Jeep, but whatever. They have the Ontos with 6 recoilless rifle, which fire really quickly, but then take a long while to reload. The support Vulcan, the M163 CS, and the Combat, which is it's kind of Bradley with a 45mm autocannon with a AP power of 4. This thing shoots enemy light armor really quickly. They have the N728 CEV, which is the engineer version of the Paron, with a huge howitzer. Well, I don't know if calling this a howitzer. It's actually a very short-ranged support gun with a heck of a big IT power. And then you have the armor cars, B150 with a 76mm, B150 with a 90mm, and the LAB-25 FSB with the Bushmaster. So those are the vehicles. Moving on, choppers. This we already knew from WarGame Battle, the Sea Cobra T, standard helicopter with ATGMs and Hydras and the Vulcan 20mm. Then you have the Super Cobra with Sidewinders, infrared missiles, TOW 2s, and a Vulcan. Then you have the Army Cobras, starting with the H1S Cobra with Hydras and FFRs, H1A's Cobras with Hydras and TOWs, and H1F Cobra with Hydras and ITOWs. Then you have the standard Apache, which has Hydras and Hellfires, but this time, and unlike in WarGame Battle, they are semi-active, not fire and forget. The fire and forget only are for the longbow, and the longbow is in the Recon section. Then you have the Little Bird, which is a tiny support helicopter, tiny funny helicopter support helicopter with a couple of frag launchers to stun enemy infantry. Very cheap, very dependable, quite fast. Yeah. Then you have the Black Hawk DAP with 8 Hellfires. Again, these are semi-active, not fire and forget. Twin miniguns and twin autocannons. This is a very, very powerful anti-tank unit. Then you get the OH-52C, which is the Kiowa with stingers. This is pretty much the same as the one in WarGame Battle. The Seahawk with 4 Hellfire missiles. The Huey Hog with a ton of FFR rockets. And the Heavy Hog with a ton of FFR rockets and a grenade launcher. So those are the options for the Americans in the helicopter tree. Let's see the air. Now in the air you get the Thunderbolt 2. This was already in WarGame Airland Battle. Really good anti-tank unit. Rocket Skyhawks. 2 of them. One with more rockets than the other. A6A Intruder with a lot of bombs and a little bit of ECM. A7E Corsair with a Pulkant autocannon and 2 napalm canisters and a 30% ECM, which is not bad. Then we have the Harrier line. We have the AV-8A Harrier with no ECM, but, well, general purpose bombs, a Sidewinder, AV-8C Harrier, rocket launchers, AA missiles, cannon, a little bit of ECM, and in my opinion one of the most underrated planes in this game, the AV-8B Harrier 2, with an equalizer autocannon, which is brutal, accuracy 40%. This is insane for an autocannon. Maverick missiles, 2 of them, and Sidewinder M's, extremely good missiles. So this is a great chopper killer, it's a great tank killer, and it's not bad at all as a fighter if you get into the range of dogfighting any enemy fighter. It's a little bit slow, however. But yep, this is a Harrier 2. Have the Prowler with the standard anti-radar missiles and a 50% ECM. Then you have the Raven with harm anti-radar missiles, 2 of them, 60% ECM, much faster and good stealth, which is often overlooked by many, that this thing has good stealth. You tend to see it really late. Then you have the F-111 Aardvark, 12 bombs, 20% ECM. The F-111 Aardvark with 12 cluster bombs and 20% ECM as well. The Nighthawk, which probably the biggest new here is that you can get 2 of these instead of just 1 with the payway. Of course, exceptional stealth, but no ECM whatsoever. Then Tomcats with the long range fire and forget Phoenix. And superiority fighters in the shape of the F-15A Eagle, the F-15C Eagle with AMRAAMs, and the F-15E Strike Eagle with 40% ECM, really fast, and 4 1000 kilogram bombs. Also a lot of very good Sidewinder missiles. Then we move on to the Fiery Falcon family. The Fiery Falcon A with Rockeye cluster munitions and sidewinders. The F-16C with 2 more Rockeyes and a Peder sidewinder for AA missiles. And we are going to go down here because we have the F-16 Block 50-52 with 4 AMRAAMs, 2 sidewinders, really fast, good ECM. If you are wondering which of the two is better, you can see both stats of the F-16 Block 50-52 and the Eagle. And first of all, you will see that one is 20 points cheaper than the other, which is already a huge difference here. Second, you will see that the F-16 gets 2 less sidewinders, which is kind of a disadvantage, but still you get 4 AMRAAMs, which is huge. You will see that they have exactly the same speed, the same ECM of 40, but that the Eagle has a bigger rate of turn. Now, however, contrary to what you might think looking at this, because this is not well described, actually rate of turn is better the lower it is. This should be actually, I don't know, turn radius or something like that. Actually, the planes that have lesser values here turn better. So, the F-16 actually turns better than the Eagle. So, which one would you go for air superiority? Up to you. Next, while we saw the Phantom with strike missiles, which are pretty crappy, but it also has AA missiles and is pretty cheap, has 40% ECM. So it's actually a nice all-rounder. It's not the most or best unit, but it's actually a pretty decent multi-role plane. Moving on with Phantoms, we have the F4G, sorry, Phantom 2, which is the fighter version, the naval defense version of the Phantom. No cannon, 2 infrared missiles, and 2 Sparrows. Then we have the F4S Phantom 2, which is the napalm version, with enough napalm to burn 3 or 4 cities and then keep on going. Really, these things, carpet bombing napalm is brutal. Pretty decent ECM. So yeah, pretty good unit. And then we have the Hornets. FA-18A Hornet with a couple semi-active Mavericks and a couple Sidewinder Ls, 30% ECM. And then we have the FA-18C Hornet with a 40% ECM, Fire and Forget Mavericks, and a better Sidewinder M, but of course a little bit more pricey. And yeah, the Falcon we have already seen. So yeah, those are the units for the American tech. As you can see, lots of new things, a lot of new stuff. Some of it really powerful and really nice to use. So, well, you will be able to try them when the game is released. As always, remember to tell me which deck you want to see next. Thank you very much for watching and see you later.